And get ready to dive into the heart of local sports action. Broadcasting live from the heartland of Missouri, welcome to the SEMO Scramble on SEMO ESPN. It's now time to catch up on the latest local highlights, in-depth analysis, and interviews from the Boot Heel and beyond. Here's your host, Rusty Hendricks.
And good Saturday morning to you. It's the SEMO Scramble here on SEMO ESPN Radio, 1220 AM, 93.5 FM, and online, SEMOESPN.com. Well, did you have a good night? Happy Friday night. High school football rounding out some big postseason district championship games. We'll get into that here in just a minute. It is opening weekend for rifle season, so maybe those coming out of the woods a little bit, maybe already got yourself a deer. I don't know, but so good luck to those out there in the woods today, getting things going there. But should be a beautiful day. Sun is out. It's going to be in the 70s today. I like that. So a good day to get out and about and have a little fun over the weekend. Because I'll be honest, I don't know how many more of these we're going to get before the end of the year. But, look, some good things to talk about today. We're going to talk about some high school stuff here at the beginning. At 9:30, we're going to talk with the new head baseball coach. New head baseball coach at Notre Dame Regional High School, Tom Bolen. We're going to talk to him at 9:30. Trying to get in contact with Kaiden Karper of SEMOBALL.com. Hoping to try to get a hold of him. Trying to get talk a little high school sports. So if we can, we'll try to connect with him. But we'll start with some high school sports, get things going here, and, again, talk a little football, shall we? Some district tournament action going on last night. Let's start with some scores. Class 1, District 1, Portageville at Hayti. And, look, these two teams coming in, interesting seasons. A Portageville team that, of course, have been good over the past several seasons. Obviously, you think of a guy like Smith that's been their running back, is now at SEMO, by the way, that had all the career accolades that he had at Portageville, helping them and built their program up. Ian Penrod down there and all that stuff. Things have changed. Coaching spots have changed. Players have changed. But Portageville still has that culture and that toughness in place, right? And look, they've battled throughout. You thought this was going to be a little bit of a down season for them, but boy, after maybe a couple of tough games early for them, they've just gotten better and able to find themselves in the district championship. Remember the number one seed in this district was Saxony. They ended up falling in the semis. They had a great year, but, they haven't been there, haven't had that experience of postseason play. Now they got a taste of it. They'll be better next year for it. But Portageville has been there. They have experience. They have guys that know what it takes. They do it in baseball and other sports as well. And then Hayti and what they were able to do as well. I mean, Charleston had a pretty solid year. I mean, again, we talked about it before. Any of those four teams you thought had a chance to win the district title. But it was Portageville and Hayti. And Hayti, as you look at them, at the beginning of the year, I think they were the preseason favorites. You'd think, okay, this is a team with a lot back. They have athletes galore. They have guys that could make plays, a threesome that is just phenomenal. And what they were able to do, Isaiah Love at running back, Javante Payne, J.C. Ford. Those guys are as good as they come, and in Class 1 in particular. But they went through some growing pains this year, some tough times early, just struggling, self-inflicted wounds, some mistakes, some uncharacteristic things that went on. Injuries really affected them. J.C. Ford was out for a couple of weeks. But, boy, when they click. And they did again last night. Hayti winning 38-21. 13. And oh boy, are they glad to have J.C. Ford clicking as well. So he was on last night. Isaiah Love with a big game, over 100 yards rushing. Javonte Payne with over 100 yards receiving. So Hayti getting the victory, playing some good football. Again, 38-13. They win the Class 1 District 1 title. We'll get into their matchup here coming up in a little bit. So we move on to Class 2 District 2. St. Pius X out of Festus. So the St. Pius against Caruthersville. They played early on this year. It was a pretty close game early in the season. It was Caruthersville that was able to get past them in a pretty close game. The way St. Pius plays, they are a grinded-out type of offense, a team that they want to have a 10-plus play drive to punch it into the end zone. They want to work the clock, shorten the game, and again, just they're not necessarily opposed to big plays, but they're not a big play type of offense. Caruthersville is, and they, again, a team with a lot of athletes. With Hudgens, their quarterback, has been dinged up this year, but back the last couple of weeks, he's played well, been a good quarterback for them. And then, obviously, in my opinion, the best running back in the area. And in my opinion, the guy that is in line that should win the Carr Trophy, that should win the SEMOBALL Offensive Player of the Year when it comes out later this year. In my opinion, he is a stud running back. A guy that's, believe it or not, he had a touchdown in this game. 101 touchdowns in his career. Think about that. 101 touchdowns for Sammy Bryant. Just fantastic career, and I hope he gets a chance at the next level. But he didn't have his best game last night. And give credit to St. Pius. They were ready. And I think part of the reason St. Pius was able to come back and get the victory last night. Here's the score. 28-14, they get the win over Caruthersville. So after Caruthersville beat them early, St. Pius adjusted. They made some changes. And one of the things that helped them, again, was those long, sustained drives and not as many possessions, not as many opportunities for Caruthersville. And they didn't take advantage of some of their opportunities last night. A couple of interceptions by Hudgens for Caruthersville, so some turnovers. They only had one possession, 4 plays in the fourth quarter. That's it, one possession. And so time of possession, obviously, in the hands of St. Pius, and that was the difference. Didn't necessarily get as much opportunities, but they lose 28-14. And, again, tough outing for Caruthersville. So a great year. Just unable to get it done in the district championship game. You thought maybe they could make a run if they got through, but give credit to St. Pius over at Caruthersville. In Class 3, District 1, another magical season, and now back-to-back district titles for Dexter. 33-12. Dexter with a victory over Potosi. Potosi with a very good running back, but that Dexter defense has been legit. They've been good. And they slowed him down. They slowed him down last night. And Devin Turnbow, who I mentioned Sammy Bryant to be Carr Trophy winner, he's got to be in the conversation. Devin Turnbow, I mean, he has been fantastic for Dexter this year. He's in my top 3. It's Turnbow, it's Parsons for Jackson, and it's Sammy Bryant. Those are my top 3 football players, offensive football players in the area this year. So Dexter winning 33-12. They thought maybe they were going to take on Park Hill Central. That didn't happen. They got upset in the semis. They found a way here and able to get it done as Dexter, again, just so amazing what they've been able to do this year, and just excited for them. And then in Class 3, District 2, Lift for Life, with a victory over Valley Catholic, 48-34. They were very strong last year, obviously an excellent team, and they were able to get the victory over Valley Catholic, who are undefeated coming in. I actually picked Valley to win. I thought they had a good chance, but Lift for Life is a different animal. Their athletes took control, and they were able to get the victory, 48-34 over Valley Catholic. All right, I believe we got Kaiden Karper on now on our phone line out of SEMOBALL. Kaiden, can you hear me?
Yes, all good, Rusty. Thanks for having me on, man.
All right, Kaiden Karper of SEMOBALL. Sorry about that. I had trouble connecting with you earlier. We talked about the first three classes already in high school football. Got you those scores. We'll get some reaction from you here in a moment. We'll continue on with some scores here before we get into reaction to the games. But in Class 4, District 1, it was Festus 42-24 with a victory over North County. Out of our area a little bit, but just briefly want to talk about it. North County was up early in that game. Festus was able to tie it back 21-21, and after that, Festus took control in the second half. So a little bit of a scare. Surprised me a little bit, but Festus took care of business late in that game, and they win the district title once again in Class 4, District 1. The game that we were at, Kaiden, in Farmington, Class 5, District 1, not surprised of who won. I am a little bit surprised of how it was won, I guess, and the score. And Cape Central shut out last night as Farmington won 21-0. 21-0, Farmington with a victory. That's twice this year they have beat Cape Central. That's the first time this year they've been shut out. And a team that over their last three games, Cape Central was averaging 43 points a game on offense. And Farmington shut them out. Pretty impressive of their defense and what they were able to perform last night. And then Class 6, District 1, I mean, good grief. The train keeps on rolling. Jackson, 70 points last night over Northwest, 70-7, the district title winners. 3 years in a row for Ryan Nesbitt and company. They get it done over Northwest, and they'll take on CBC. We'll talk about that matchup. But, wow, pretty crazy. So that leaves three kind of area teams, if you will, for us left in the playoffs. Hayti in Class 1, Dexter in Class 3, and Jackson in Class 6. So, Kaiden, your reaction from some of the games overall last night?
Yeah, I think we can start really with Cape Central Farmington. Again, not too overly surprised about Farmington coming away with that one, but you're right. It's the fashion, I think, in which Farmington won that game. Cape Central, I thought personally that defensively they were fine. Gave up a couple explosive plays. They gave up an 80-yard rush touchdown the first play of the third quarter, which really kind of broke things open for the Knights. But offensively, I mean, Cape just couldn't do much, and they really couldn't capitalize. You were there. I mean, they had several scoring opportunities in the red zone. I think they were like 0 for 3 on fourth down or something like that. So they just couldn't capitalize. And again, kind of weren't as creative as you think, maybe offensively. I hate to be blunt, put it bluntly, but I don't know. Farmington's just such a well-coached team, though, with Brent Ackley and what he's been able to do there in just 1 year. But still, you got to give tip your cap to Cape Central and just kind of how they turned their season around. I remember they had a 3-game skid there in early October. It's like, man, they're losing a couple of key offensive linemen. Like, how's this all going to pan out? And they kind of do what they always do, which is, click at the right time. And that's a credit to their coaching and just their talent level as well. So, that's the one that stuck out to me, obviously, because I was there. But
yeah, I mean, again, I was a little surprised that they couldn't punch it in. I mean, they couldn't get the offense going a little bit better than what they did. Farmington was ready for Keyshawn Boyd, and he only had, I think, a little over 70 yards rushing last night. It was tough. It was tough going for them. To me, the game was won in the trenches, and clearly Farmington won the line of scrimmage battle, and that was the difference to me in the game. But also Tatum Tinsley. I mean, the dual-threat quarterback, over 100 yards passing, right around 100 yards rushing. And then, again, you mentioned the big plays, Corey Tripp, with that big 80-yard touchdown to begin. But, he had 147 yards rushing, too. I mean, they absolutely took control, and they had some big plays. Cape didn't have big plays for the most part.
Right.
Farmington did, and that was, again, a difference.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because that did make a difference. I think Cape's biggest play, Rusty, what, maybe like 15, 20 yards?
Yeah.
I can't remember, really.
Here, I have it right here. Looks like their biggest play of the night was a 25-yard reception by Jathan Spain. If you remember, it was actually Keyshawn Boyd who threw the pass. So it was a trick play, and that was their biggest play of the game, 25 yards.
Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, you just can't win, big playoff games without, big-time plays like that. So, but it was fun. Covered those Tigers, though. I mean, that was a good team. A really good senior class, too, Rusty. I wrote about it last night. One of the best 4-year stretches in school history.
Yeah.
They won 2 championships. I believe they made a Final Four once or twice there, too. So, yeah. But otherwise, Jackson, man, my gracious. Yeah, you want to talk about foul points? I think that foul points is putting it lightly. You just don't do that in district championship games, but this team's legit, and that just sets up a colossal, if you will, game against CBC in the state quarters next Friday. It just sets it up all the more.
Let's set up some of the matchups. We'll start there with Jackson. They will host, and we'll see if it's a Friday or Saturday game. How Misha has it set up, they set the games up as Saturday games. Now, if both teams agree, they can play on a Friday night. But if one of the teams, hey, we want to play Saturday, they're going to play Saturday. So that's how it's set up. We'll see if it could be changed to a Friday night. But as of right now, it's a Saturday game. But you mentioned it, CBC with a victory over Lafayette. You talk about a wild game. That was a wild game. 77-62 was the score of that game as CBC was able to win. Vic Williams, he's a great running back. He had over 100 yards. He had 23 touchdowns this year, 182 yards rushing. Their quarterback, very, very good as well, and Nick McClellan. This year, McClellan, over 2,100 passing yards, and he as well, over 1,000 yards rushing. So offenses galore next week. As you look at the tail of the tape, if you will, both teams average over 50 points. Jackson only giving up 13 points a game. CBC at around 22. So both teams undefeated, 11-0 coming in. It's 2 of the top-rated teams in the entire state. It is going to be a mammoth game, and to me, the difference is going to be the defense. Can Jackson force some turnovers? Can Jackson slow down their offense? Because I think both of these offenses are elite. I think maybe CBC has a little bit of a better offense, slightly. But the defense is, to me, is the differences. I think Jackson has the better defense. Can they make enough plays to make the difference next weekend?
Yeah, no, exactly. That's certainly, I think, one of the biggest keys. Also, I add, too, I think Jackson, we all know how great their running game is. They're going to have to throw the ball pretty efficiently, too. I don't think they've been tested since maybe Ritter game through the air that much. And I think, quarterback Drew Parsons and that receiving core, they're going to have to get going because just to balance things out, because we know what CBC's going to do. Stop Jalen Hampton, stop the run game, make it throw it, put the game in Parsons' hands. And I think that's another big key and storyline going into that game as well. So it should be a lot of fun, man.
I agree. So let's turn real quick to Class 3. Dexter with a victory, 33-12 over Potosi. They'll play Lift for Life. I believe were you at the Lift for Life game at Cape Central? I don't remember.
No, I was not, unfortunately.
Okay. But so Lift for Life, they're a good team, athletic. I don't know. This is going to be tough for Dexter. I don't know that Dexter can get this one. It's a state quarterfinal game. They're going to be traveling to Melville to take on Lift for Life. This is going to be a tough test. Dexter's had a good year, but I'm skeptical. I'm not saying they can't do it, but I'm skeptical.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a lower scoring game. It's kind of like the Cape Lift for Life game. It's, a defensive battle, a lot of key plays on that side of the ball. I obviously don't know much about Lift for Life, but again, can Dexter throw it a little bit too? Because we know how good their running game is with Turnbow and Hravojevic, and defensively they're really stout. They're well coached. can you mix and match? Make the big plays through the air. I think that's a key for the Bearcats too. But yeah, going up north, man. But that's from Dexter. That's what 2.5, probably 3 hours.
Yeah, a couple hours for sure.
Yeah,
it's not easy.
That's a tough test. So,
yeah,
I don't know. Interesting matchup there.
Yeah, I agree. I think it could be low scoring. Can Dexter stop the big play? Because Live for Life, they get out open in space. That's going to be tough. Can they stop the big play? And then in Class 1, Hayti and Van Far, if you look at the records, neither team has just a wow type of record. Van Far 7-4, Hayti 6-5. So I actually like Hayti's chances. And again, that kind of goes back. It's kind of flipping it a little bit with the style of Dexter is more similar to Van Far. The style of Live for Life more similar to Hayti. So if Hayti can make some of those big plays, can hang on to the football, that they don't make mistakes, I think they got a shot next week.
Yeah, I agree. And also I think, in my opinion, best receiver, they have the best receiver in the area.
Oh, yeah.
Hayti is Javonte Payne. That kid is a stud. If you have not seen his highlights or watched him, I've never seen him in person, but I've seen highlights, man.
He's legit.
That kid is electrifying. And he's only a junior, I believe. Dude, he's a lot of fun to watch. And they got a good quarterback too, J.C. Ford as well. So there's no question they can't put up points. It's just, or they can't put up points. It's just a matter, I think, of getting stops defensively. Yeah, we got some pretty high stakes, fun matchups next week, don't we now, Rusty?
Absolutely. And unfortunately, Payne is a senior. Payne and Isaiah Love, the running back seniors. However, J.C. Ford, their quarterback, he is a junior, so he'll be back next year. All right. I do want to give a shout-out. We had talked about cross-country last week with Notre Dame getting a state title in the girls. Woodland, the state title, their third straight state title. Got to give a shout-out to them and what, Ryan Layton and the group has done there. Pretty impressive. Obviously, with Reed Layton and now with Calvin Layton and another Layton getting into the act. I mean, boy, they have been so impressive there at Woodland. The third straight state title. And then in swimming, we saw Hudson Dennis with a 50 freestyle state title as well. Notre Dame coming away with some hardware as well. So congrats to both of them. Your reaction to those?
Yeah, I started with Woodland. That was last weekend, obviously. It's just consistency. You just got to keep your tip of your cap to Ryan Layton. You mentioned Max Layton. So just a freshman, and he almost broke Calvin's PR time. He was, right there. So he's going to be a stud. He's going to be one to really follow the next 3 years. So congratulations to them. They deserve it. And then, over to the water. I mean, Hudson Dennis, school record time. Notre Dame's first ever individual boys state champion, I believe. I had the pleasure of talking to Coach Basketball yesterday on the phone, and a lot of excitement and a big year for Notre Dame swimming. I think Hudson has a really key story too, because about a month and a half ago, off the field, if you will, out of the water injury, he broke his wrist. Comes back, I don't know, 2.5 weeks ago. Gets back at it, wins the SEMO Conference Championship, good districts, does well there, and then wins first ever state title. So I think it's a pretty good comeback story, too. And, also, Rusty, side note, Notre Dame's had a fall sports season. Albeit their boys soccer state quarter today, so you mentioned girls cross country. I mean, they've been killing it.
Yeah, and you mentioned the soccer. So, again, quarterfinal today at Notre Dame against Rockwood Summit, 1 p.m. It's not going to be easy. They win the district title, pretty impressive. They've kind of had an up-and-down season, the soccer squad, but they're kind of playing well at the right time. Do you give them a shot? I think it's pretty clear they're the underdog, but do you give them a shot today?
I do. I think I do. Defensively, they've been really good. I've been to 2 or 3 of their playoff games so far. Defensively, they've been really good. Can they capitalize in the box? Can they, really just take advantage of the scoring opportunities, because I was there in the district final game against Bluff, and they could have scored 3 or 4 more times. They just couldn't punch it in. So I think if they can, again, capitalize, it could be right there with Rockwood. So it's interesting, and maybe they'll continue to live up to that underdog mentality against these bigger schools this year.
All right, last thing, and we'll let you go. Big game today at the Show Me Center. Men's basketball, SEMO taking on the Tommies out of St. Thomas from Minnesota. They're picked first in the Summit League. This is their first year as postseason eligible. They had a good year last year. They've been was really good in Division III and moving on up. I mean, they're a solid program. It's not going to be an easy one today. SEMO men's basketball, though, they almost nipped Mizzou. They have played pretty well against SLU. Obviously, a dominating win against Webster the other night. They're playing some pretty good basketball. I think this could be a fun matchup today.
I agree, and I hope there's going to be a pretty handsome crowd, like a lot of people there, considering the buzz, and also I think the OVC championship, regular season championship banner is going to be lowered as well.
That's right.
So yeah, no, I agree. I think it's been a good start for these guys, especially with a fairly revamped roster. A lot of young talent coming in, but we'll see, man. I mean. Yeah, and this will be their, I think, last home game till, I believe, the 29th. So that's a few weeks down the road. So hopefully a lot of buzz, a lot of noise there today, and see if you guys keep it rolling.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of Tyler Hero? You ever heard of Tyler Hero?
Yeah, I've heard the name.
Yeah, played at Kentucky, starred there in the NBA with Miami Heat. His younger brother, Austin Hero, on the roster for St. Thomas. So we'll get to see him. So, again, Braxton Stacker has been really good. He has stepped up this year. Brennan Terry, Mr. Consistent. And then starting to see some of the younger guys, build out some resume for the Red Hawks and get a little experience, get their feet wet a little bit. So, again, I like the way SEMO is playing right now.
Yeah, I'm real quick, and I'm glad you mentioned that. I think going into this year, when you lose Rothbard, the heart and soul of your offense there at point guard, and then when you lose Teddy Washington Jr., another really good shooting guard, it's like, who's kind of going to step up and be that next guy, that catalyst? Obviously, a lot of fingers pointed to Terry, but he's a forward. So it's like, who else? And I think you're right. Stacker has been that guy so far, and it makes sense. He's a seasoned guy. He's a playmaker. He's had a couple really good performances in past years. So now it's kind of like, okay, how do we branch off of him as well and really just get a lot of untapped potential out of some of these other guys? So, it's still early, but we're seeing some good signs, Rusty.
I agree. And a guy that didn't even start last year at Braxton Stacker. All right. You got about 30 seconds here, all right? About 30 seconds. SEMO football at Western Illinois, Macomb. Again, I think that could be a pretty decent game. Western Illinois hasn't been the greatest football program, but, they've been making it tough on other teams. Even last week, they had a chance to get a victory, but they fell a little short. What do you think about that matchup today? Do you give SEMO the edge?
It's a pick 'em. I think it's hard. You got to protect the quarterback, though. I mean, man, they gave up 11 sacks yesterday, or last Saturday, in that loss. Got to protect Jax and limit the explosive play. West's got a pretty balanced offense. I think if they can, if SEMO can turn the ball over, protect Jax, and get the run game going. I know it's been pretty stagnant this year. Been a lot to ask, but if they can click in those three phases, they're going to win this football game on the road.
Absolutely. Kaiden, appreciate the time, and we'll catch you later. Kaiden Karper of SEMOBALL. We appreciate it, man.
All right, Rusty. Appreciate it, man. Have a good one.
You too. All right, that is Kaiden Karper. Appreciate him. We will take a break. Be back. Try to connect with Tom Bolen, new head coach for Notre Dame, after the break. Welcome back, SEMO Scramble here on SEMO ESPN Radio, 1220 AM, 93.5 FM. You can always catch us online, SEMOESPN.com. And happen to be joined now on our phone line with the new head baseball coach for Notre Dame Regional High School, Tom Bolen. How does that sound, Tom?
It sounds rather interesting, to say the least.
Glad to have you today. Pretty excited. I think Notre Dame had pretty home run hire there, if you excuse the pun. But look, I guess how did it come about? I mean, obviously, I know it was announced a little while ago that the head coach Dave Lawson stepping down. He took a job at Three Rivers, so looked like Notre Dame obviously had a quick opening. Hey, we saw just hiring there across the way at Cape Central, your old buddies and Steve Williams and Tally Haynes. And so now that Cape Central connection continues here at Notre Dame. And I know obviously your son is there at Notre Dame, but just how excited are you to be able to get the opportunity and how it came about?
Well, it came out with a conversation. Jeff Gravitt, I've known him for 30 years, and Tim Garner, and reached out, and we discussed the possibility, whatnot. With the announcement of football, they got quite a bit on their plate at Notre Dame and whatnot, and we sat there and we discussed it, and there's a lot of moving parts on my part, and a week later, we thought that it would be able to work, and moved forward, and it's really exciting. You brought up Steve Williams and Tally Haynes, two very close friends. We reached out to them and had a funny conversation and about it, and we're excited. We're excited to be part of such a reputable school and athletic program. As you know, Rusty, you've been affiliated with the school for quite some time. It's really exciting to be there and try to give back, try to influence these young men on and off the field. We've kind of put together a good staff. We've added a couple key components to make a difference with these young athletes.
Who we got with you?
We got Christian Cavanis coming. He's been a pillar of baseball. I mean, he's done great with everything that he's been affiliated with. And Kaiden Kendall, he played for me.
Awesome.
Christian played for Dad, but I was assistant coaching there. And then Christian went on to play pro ball, and he does quite a bit with local baseball with the ACES program, and he's really built that program up literally from scratch. And with everybody involved, the coaching staff that was already in place by Dave, and Dave did a great job. Dave and I talked. We played together, growing up, certainly on the Capalls, and we've talked since. And we both kind of got a chuckle out of it that, here we are. I'm, 2 years removed from coaching the Capalls. I'm back at it.
I mean, obviously things started to come together when the conversation started, but before that, before any of that happened, before any conversation with Jeff Gravitt, did that ever come to your mind that maybe you'd want to coach high school baseball someday? I mean, was that ever in the back of your mind?
It really wasn't. I've dedicated my life, I guess, to being a lifelong learner, and I have a hard time saying no with the different hats that people ask. I'll give back time, and whatnot, but no, it wasn't on the radar. And when I initially saw that I missed a call from Gravitt, my initial thought was, great, what did TJ get in trouble at Notre Dame? But I didn't think that was a possibility. In fact, we My middle child, Ty, I got back into the coaching realm with the 12U Missouri Bulls this fall, just to be out on the field, just to give back, try to, make a kid get to that next level, whatever that next level may be, and try to share the love for the game that has given me so much. I've been around baseball my entire life with my brother and two sisters, Jesse, Kim, and Michelle, and with mom and dad doing the Cap-Alls for 50 years. It's a way of life. Mom and dad always instilled that you don't really remember every game, but you remember the friendships that you make along the way because they last a lifetime, and it's so true. And so being a part of such a I don't know what the word I'm looking for, profound baseball school. I mean, Notre Dame, they've been to state 12 times, won it 5. It's quite honestly, you could call Notre Dame Titletown baseball or Cape Girardeau Titletown baseball with Cape Central's influence. I was really hoping that Central would pull out that win last night. I know I'm affiliated with Notre Dame, but we don't have football yet, so I got to cheer on my alma mater. But no, it was exciting. You did a good job on the radio last night. It was, I was hoping you could pull out some magic and get a win for us there.
Yeah, appreciate that. Obviously, you alluded to the fact that you've been around baseball in your entire life, and I would maybe say that it's in your blood, right? I mean, obviously, you won a state title at Cape Central. You mentioned that connection for baseball. Went on to Lindenwood. Look, you've been a part of the Capitol Hall program, played for your dad, spent 12 years as an assistant coach, 7 years as the head coach there. So, look, you've been around the block. You've been there, done that. I guess when you come in and maybe you already have had that first meeting with the team, but when you talk to your team, what do you want to instill? What are some of the priorities that you want to come in and make sure that you are able to accomplish this season for Notre Dame?
The first and foremost thing that we'll address to the team is somebody helped you to get here, and more than likely it was your mom and dad. Your mom and dad taking you all across the world with travel baseball. We have to be thankful of who helped us along the way. We have to recognize the past to understand where we want to get to. And that's talking, we're going to try to get some, I think 2015 was the last state championship team. I'd like to pull in, Chase Erhan or some of those guys on that team and just have that conversation, because I firmly believe you can repeat what you've done in the past, but you have to understand how to do it. And we have a great coaching staff that has been successful in different avenues of baseball, whether it's pro or college or whatnot. Lean on us. We are going to be very fundamentally sound. I believe in the foundation, making sure that we don't lose sight of the foundation of swinging, the basics of fielding a ground ball and whatnot. I think that's too many times you deviate from that. But we're going to have a simple approach. We're there to have fun, but when the game starts, we want to compete to the best of our ability. And, we'll have to play small ball. We'll have to do whatever we can. But at the end of the day, we want to, not to pull out a pun here or anything, but make Notre Dame great again. Not taking away from what people have done in the past, or certainly not saying anything like that. It's just, let's see what we can do. We don't know what we can do, and why not? Why not? Why not us? Why can't we make a run doing this? And I think we have a good coaching staff to reiterate the fact that we can, so early on it will be fun because the foundation, you have to get your legs underneath you. So I've already addressed the team a little bit that over Christmas break might be a good idea to, go for a jog from time to time. But all in all, we're there to play baseball. Obviously, be academics first, athletics, and then try to become a apostle. So it's exciting. The entire school has reached out, and been very supportive of this transition, and I'm super excited. I wish the season started tomorrow.
Absolutely. Tom Bolen with us again, the new head coach for Notre Dame Regional High School. I got to ask this. I know it's been a tough year with the passing of your father, Jess, and all that he meant, not only to you and the family, but to the community as a whole and to the Kappahaws and just, Cape Girardeau County and beyond, right? I mean, it's been tough. I know, but I'm sure he's looking down right now, and your mom as well, Mary. I mean, they're so proud. And obviously I've gotten an opportunity, since starting with River Radio over a decade ago and getting to know your dad and working with him and doing games with him, and then obviously getting to know you and your family. And so I am pretty close to the Bolen family, and I appreciate that. But I know that he's got to be very proud of this, and I guarantee you he's gonna be looking on from above of those Notre Dame baseball games and checking things out there, and maybe say, Tom, why did you make that move? Tom, what are you doing here? I mean, but just your thoughts on again, on the tough year and on how proud your family would be.
Thank you for the very kind words. It has been a tough year, with the passing of Dad. I mean, we talked every day, baseball, life in general, and I feel the same way. I feel like this opportunity, I think everything happens for a reason, and God puts you in the place where he thinks you should be, whether or not you understand it or not. And it just worked. I mean, my wife and I talked about this and this crazy idea, and we're expecting our fourth child in January.
Congrats, by the way.
And thank you. And it's and she was supportive, and she said, "Yeah, this is where you should be. That you're supposed to be here for a reason." And so it offered up. I know. I'll tell you a quick funny story about Dad. It was my first year helping coach, assistant with Dad, and I was coaching third base, and we had a bang play. A ball hit up the middle, and we had a runner at second, so I was waving him, and we had one out, and I got him thrown out by 10 feet at home plate. And after the inning, I went down, sat down, talked to Dad, and goes, "What were you thinking?" He said, "You had one out. You already had a guy in scoring position." And he's telling me the strategic idea and this and this. I said, "Well, Dad," I said, "I thought he'd make it." And he goes, "I can live with that." He said, "You thought wrong, but I can live with that." But I can't emphasize enough the childhood my siblings and I had, being at the ballpark around, your Chris Janets, your Steve Williams, Bruce Qualls, all these people growing up. You were just a family. You were just, it was a family atmosphere, and Mom and Dad created that and brought people in, and it reiterates the idea that, the idea that we are, it's a family atmosphere. It's, that's why people would still go by and see Mom and Dad, 10 years after they played. The baseball community down here has been amazing for quite a long time, and the area high schools, the coaching staffs associated with those, it's great, and I guess I'm kind of getting steered, and but it's truly a blessing. We've been blessed to be around so many good people in the community, and all the support the past years with the Kappahaws. And super excited about this new opportunity at Notre Dame. I didn't think it was ever going to be a possibility, and nor was I seeking it, but it happened, and it fits, and I can't be more excited about the staff that we have and the opportunity to be affiliated with such a strong school in the community.
Well, Tom, really appreciate the time. We are happy for you and believe that you're the right man for the job. So, again, Tom Bolen joining us this morning on the SEMO Scramble. Tom, congrats. Appreciate it. And just good luck the rest of the way going forward.
All right. Thank you, Rusty.
All right. That is Tom Bolen, the new head coach for Notre Dame Regional High School. We appreciate him for joining us this morning on the SEMO Scramble. Good stuff. Enjoyed that story as well from Tom talking about his dad. All right. We're going to take a break. When we come back, St. Louis Blues played last night. What happened? We'll get a reaction from Robert Thomas after the break. Stay with us. SEMO Scramble on SEMO ESPN. Welcome back. SEMO Scramble here on SEMO ESPN. Enjoyed that interview with the new head coach for Notre Dame baseball, Tom Bolen. When you talk about baseball in our area, Cape Capitol's come to mind, and the Bolen family name right up there at the top as far as coming up. So Notre Dame going to be in good hands going forward. All right, St. Louis Blues last night playing a game against the Philadelphia Flyers. Ended up falling 6-5 in a shootout. So they pick up a point. That's good because they need as many points as they can get right now after the sluggish start. But they were up. They were leading in that third period. They let it slip away. 5 goals. 5 goals they give up there overall in the game. But reaction from Robert Thomas, his thoughts on the loss last night.
How do you kind of describe what happened in the third period after you guys drove 2?
We just got to find a way to, close out games. We come out in the third, grab 2 goals, and, there should be no chance of letting them back in, and, we got to clean that up.
Is there a disappointment when you're creating that kind of offense and not being able to get 2 points at the end of the night?
Yeah, very, very disappointing, yeah.
Robbie, what's the balance between being patient and attacking the net in overtime there?
Yeah, I think you're trying to create, mismatches. You're trying to gain more speed than them, especially when they're sitting, slow in the neutral zone. They don't have speed. We had a couple looks there. You're really trying to get a forward to skate backwards and have a lot of speed and try and burn them.
When you guys have the lead like that, where do you think there's the most room for improvement when it comes to maintaining that lead?
I think, defending harder, we got to take care of the puck better. They shouldn't have a guy coming down the slot shooting. That can't happen anymore, so especially when you're up 2 in the third.
All right, Robert Thomas there, St. Louis Blues, centerman. And, again, tough loss, just trying to find their footing right now. The question for me, when you talk about the St. Louis Blues, are you digging yourself too big of a hole? Because, look, if you look at last season, if you remember, they didn't get off to an outstanding start last year either, right? It was kind of mulling in the waters, kind of so-so, right, to begin the year. They end up changing. They go to Jim Montgomery as coach, and things starting to get better. And then kind of the second half of play, calendar turns. They start making their run late and, able to sneak in, get into the playoffs, and play pretty well and take Winnipeg to the brink, right? So I guess the question would be, what team is it? Is it team more the first half from last year, or is it the team that, that can actually do what they did at the end of last year? So they got to get to that. But the question is, are they digging themselves too big of a hole right now? So, look, again, they get a point. That's a positive, but you just want to see this team keep improving. They scored some goals last night. That's a positive. That's a good thing. But you just need to be more consistent. I think that's the word that comes to mind with the St. Louis Blues. All right. What else we got? We talked about SEMO a little bit with Kaiden Karper. I think it's going to be a fun matchup today. Again, they take on St. Thomas, the men's basketball program. It's a 2 p.m. game. You can hear it right here on SEMO ESPN, 1220 a.m., 93.5 FM. It'll be on ESPN Plus as well. So check that out. I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be a good game. SEMO 1-2 record, St. Thomas at 2-2. A team that, again, both of these teams picked towards the top of their respective conferences, and I think it's going to be a pretty competitive and I think a telling game today to kind of see a little bit where SEMO is. Look, I won't be surprised if they lose. I do think that it's a winnable game. I just want to see the team play well, and that's what I want to see from the SEMO men's basketball team here today. All right. How about in college football? The top 25 matchups. What are some games that kind of come to mind? You look at, okay, this could be telling. Because at this point in the year, when you talk about, look, kind of the playoff bracket is out. I know some people maybe, I don't really care. Like Mizzou's out of it, right? I mean, maybe some of your favorite teams not going to be there. There's some fun teams. There's still some spots to be had. And right now, the last couple of weeks here, the regular season, you start seeing, okay, some guys or some teams eliminating themselves. And that's kind of where we're at. Not necessarily who can get in, but who's going to find their way out, I think, is the story right now. Game we'll be looking at, I think it'll be interesting. Navy, South Florida. If South Florida loses, they could be on the way out. This could be a fun game. One of the better games, I think, could be today is Alabama and Oklahoma. If Oklahoma loses, I think their chances of getting into the playoff is out. Alabama, that would be a huge win. That would be their best win on the schedule outside of Texas for Oklahoma. So that's a big game for them. I think Alabama will take care of business. We'll see. You never know. You have Miami, NC State. Miami's got to take care of business there. Georgia Tech as well. Should have any issues with Boston College. Iowa, USC. I'm not going to get any eyes on this game. Don't really care. But I think if USC can beat Iowa, which I think they will, in California, they have a chance to continue on to make the playoff. Florida, Ole Miss, they can't lose. They can't have a step lost here. Florida, we see they can win. They got a good defense. Are they going to get enough offense here against Ole Miss? We'll see. And then Texas, Georgia. Look, if Texas wins this game, they're right back in it, folks. They're right back, boom, right there. Georgia and Texas, that should be an interesting game as well. Georgia hasn't been overly impressive, but this could be a statement game. We'll see if they can make that happen here today. So that's some of the games I'm looking at here today. Oregon with a win last night, 42-13 over Minnesota. They take care of business. And Clemson over Louisville. So now Louisville outside looking in with Clemson winning 20-19. All right, we turn to the NFL. Chiefs back in action. Okay, they're going to be taking on the Broncos, a big game. They really need this game. Broncos 8-2 record, 3:25 game on CBS. They need this game. The Chiefs do. We'll see. After a bye, they can have some health and find a way to defeat the Broncos. Big game for them in Denver. Other games I'm looking at, Lions and Eagles on Sunday night. That'll be a fun matchup. I think that one could go either way. I think I got the Eagles, but again, that one could go either way against the Lions. This could be the game of the week. Seahawks and Rams. I'm intrigued about this one. 7-2 record for both teams. Both of these teams look like powerhouses and an opportunity to maybe win and get all the way, to maybe a Super Bowl. Seahawks and Rams would be fun. And the other game I'm looking at, Bucs-Bills. Can the Bills bounce back after a tough loss to Miami last week? What about the Buccaneers as well? Those two teams are going to be fun offenses to be had. All right, SEMO Scramble on SEMO ESPN. Thanks so much, folks. Have a great weekend. We'll catch you next time. Take care, everybody. You've been listening to the SEMO Scramble on SEMO ESPN. Rusty Hendricks out.
You've been listening to the SEMO Scramble on SEMO ESPN. Tune in every Saturday morning from 9 to 10 for a dash of hometown pride and the latest news, scores, and stories that matter most to local sports enthusiasts from the Boot Heel and beyond. Right here on SEMO ESPN 1220 AM, 93.5 FM, the SEMO ESPN app, and SEMOESPN.com.